And a good morning to you all here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning as Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora comes to you inside of these awesome studios. And as you can see, we have added so many different things to the studios, and very excited to share all this great stuff with you and to celebrate all of the wonderful things that we get to do and people that we get to work with. And there's a rhyme and reason to everything that we have in the studio. So many thanks to everyone who is connected to this with wonderful hearts and kindness, and just very happy to have that. So we appreciate your patience this morning here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have a great broadcast set up here for you today. It's going to come to you in a unique way this morning, and so a lot of great stuff coming up inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Here in hour number one, we are going to discuss Syracuse men's basketball's early exit from the ACC Tournament in Washington, D.C. Then we'll jump into the NCAA's automatic bids, the teams that are already going that have won their respective conference championship games. And then we'll get into some of those NFL moves and my thoughts on those moves inside of the NFL. And then in hour number two, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the American Athletic Conference will have multiple specials airing for you on our Wake Up Call channels on youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT and on Facebook.com/Wake Up Call DT. We will start at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with my newest conversation with American Athletic Conference Commissioner, who has perennially been on the show multiple times each year throughout the year. Mike Oresco will be joining me for an all-new special, and that special is going to feature Mike and I speaking on Army joining the American Athletic Conference in football, the 2024 football schedule release, as well as taking a look at the college football playoff 5+7 format, and speaking on the American Athletic Conference basketball tournaments for women's and men's basketball. So that's all coming up with Mike Oresco. And after that, airing at 10:30, 10:40, 10:50, and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I have my Q&As with the American Athletic Conference during their basketball tournaments. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time today, you will see my Q&A with UTSA, the Roadrunners men's basketball team, following their loss in their first ever AAC tournament game, with the school joining the conference as a full member last year in July 1st, 2023. So this being their first men's basketball and women's basketball season. You'll hear from UTSA at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Then in that game, they were defeated in the first round of the AAC tournament by the Temple Owls. You'll hear from the Temple Owls at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we go to the Women's Basketball Championship tournament in the American Athletic Conference, and you will hear first from the East Carolina Pirates that were runners-up in the AAC Women's Basketball finale, and then you'll hear from the first-time AAC tournament champions, winning in their first ever AAC tournament in their first AAC season. Nice debut for them. The Rice Owls, you'll hear from them at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as I had the opportunity to speak with their head coach and student athletes following their historic victory. So a lot of great stuff coming up in hour number two, airing as 5 separate specials, all connected to the American Athletic Conference. So I appreciate you tuning into those in hour number two. And here in hour number one, let's jump right into it. The Syracuse Orange have had a unique season, to say the least. They have had moments where they've had flair, they've had flashes, they've had things that would make you believe, okay, you know what, maybe this team can go somewhere. Maybe this team will figure it out and advance and find themselves potentially in the tournament, or maybe they'll at least make it hard for the committee to make a decision on the tournament. Well, that didn't end up happening. I think the decision is pretty clear for the NCAA selection committee. Syracuse, and I tell people all the time, this is my hometown, but I am all about the truth. And the truth is, this Syracuse team is nowhere near, right now, they're nowhere near the NCAA tournament. It's not a question of if, it's not a question of how, it's a question of, it's not a question. It's not going to happen. And, that's just the reality of things for Syracuse right now, is that they have a lot of work to do. They have to figure out exactly who they are. They need to start getting disciplined. They need to start working together. They need to start personally taking responsibility for things that go on. And they need to move forward. This Syracuse Orange men's basketball team is not consistently positive. They're consistently confusing. They're consistently up and down. The consistency of being inconsistent is, that consistency is here with the team. In last night's game, Syracuse looked totally unprepared. They looked totally lost. And, this team is not playing as a team. And that's a frustrating thing. So the Syracuse Orange folks are in a place right now where they are struggling. They are struggling, and they need to find who that central voice is going to be. I think when you look to Adrian Autry, you have to ask the question of, what is the plan moving forward? You want to win games. You want to be successful. But how are you going to do it? You ever wake up and you're like, you go about your life, and then all of a sudden there's something in your mouth that you're like, what is that? But maybe that's the annoying moment of the week for tomorrow. You eat something right before bed, and then, you don't feel anything in your mouth, and all of a sudden you're like, the heck is there? So, but when you look at the Syracuse Orange basketball team, they lost by 18 points last night. 18 points. That's substantial. And yeah, Greg, echoing my sentiments here, how will you move forward? How will this team come together? Now, Judah Mintz, we know he can score. Let's be real, we know he can flop. He flops like a champion. And I'm not into flopping. I know that some people, if you can get on the foul line, do it at any cut. No. If you were flopping like he's flopping, and you were Charles Barkley's teammate, or you were, Scottie Pippen's teammate, or Gary Payton's teammate, or Bruce Bowen's teammate, I feel like they'd be like, dude, it looks foolish. So the flopping's got to stop. I understand trying to create contact, but when there's no contact and you look like Neo in the Matrix, that has to stop. And I'm not sitting here saying, just Judah. I'm using Judah as an example because we're talking about Syracuse basketball, but the flopping's got to stop. It's an embarrassment. It's and I want to ask him, does his tailbone hurt after every game? That man throws himself all over the court. The court is not made of, pillows and rainbows. That stuff's got to be hurt. Got to hurt, I should say. So, Judah, to me, has talent. He has street ball talent. He can go onto any court and he can score. But the leadership thing is something that I'd be looking at. And when he came back from the NBA Combine, people were talking about, well, he's going to work on leadership. And I was like, yeah, I know. So, now I think it's the same thing. Now I think if he went to the NBA Combine, they would be saying, hey, man, did you work on the leadership? Because we don't see it. So, I think leadership comes up now in a big way. I think it comes up again. It's a year later. You want to show improve. I don't see any leadership in Judah. More often than not, I see Judah wanting to create for Judah, wanting Judah to do something that Judah would like to do to put Judah on the stat sheet. That's not a leader. That's a shooter. There's a lot of shooters. See, what guys don't know about the NBA that I got to know by being around Summer League a lot, everybody shoots, bro. Maybe the centers don't, but, everybody wants to shoot, and everybody wants to nail that three and yada, 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 but it's the other things you do that get you on the team. When you're trying to make the NBA against thousands and thousands and thousands of people, do you really honestly think that these players can't shoot? So, I think the question with Judah is leadership last year, and I think the question with Judah this year is leadership. There were moments, but it's, if I'm an NBA scout, I'd be, what are we doing? We talked to you about leadership. There's 2 minutes left in the game against NC State, and you're dribbling into a person because you just refuse to let go of the ball. You're down by 20 points. You got 2 minutes to play, you're down by 20 points. You're not even trying to make this game closer. The team is wildly inconsistent. Chris Bell will get hot somewhere, and then they'll just stop going to him. That makes no sense to me. This is the best transition Syracuse team I've seen in a long time, but the defense is lacking. The defense is suspect. You got people begging for the zone when Syracuse goes to man. How many decades did people say, I just want to stop playing zone? And now people are like, hey, you know what? I think we should go back into zone. See, that's the thing about the armchair quarterbacks, right? And in basketball, what would you call them? The armchair point guards, I guess. But, when you watch this Syracuse basketball team, the effort is not there. The teamwork is not there. It's just, what did Malik Brown say to me this season after one of the games where they played really bad? He said to me, we just gave up. We just gave up. Simple as that. We just gave up. You just gave up. And my thing is, even if you just gave up, I wouldn't be saying that in public. I'm not knocking Malik for being honest. I appreciate the honesty. But when he said that to me, I was like, you just gave up. The shots weren't going in. Guys just kind of gave up. We live in a world of me. Transfer portal, me. NIL, me. We're living in the me. And I saw this coming. None of this surprises me. None of this surprises me at all. And I'm not saying that student athletes shouldn't make something, because the overwhelming majority of them are going to play in college and then never play again, or if they play, they might have to go overseas. And some of these sports don't even have opportunities in America for them to continue and make a living doing it, which is really unfortunate and needs to change. But we're living in a different era, and not every team looks like this. The fundamentals are not there for Syracuse. If I'm Adrian Autry, I'm going to the gym right now, this morning, and I'm saying, we don't box out, we don't set screens, we don't run plays, we don't move, we don't call for things. Like, what are you doing? You don't box out so you think every shot's going in? Where's the work? Malik Brown will do so many things that won't show up in a stat sheet. Where is the rest of the team when Malik Brown is putting his body on the line? And again, I care about these guys. I'm saying this in the reality of, like, I want you to get better. If I was their coach this morning, I would say what you put out on the floor in the ACC tournament was an overwhelming embarrassment. You looked like you didn't get off the plane. We had an opportunity at New Life, New Hope, and a chance to at least get the committee to consider us. And what you did is you slammed the door on your own foot. You told the committee, don't worry about us. We'll see ourselves out. 20 wins is a good thing. It's a good thing. It used to be enough. But when you look at Syracuse's record and you look at their performance, I said they were going to have to win at least 3 games in the ACC tournament. They were going to have to win at least 3 games in the ACC tournament. Because the first game was not going to matter as much. I mean, remember how they punished Syracuse when Syracuse beat NC State on the road. Remember, it was a quad 1. You woke up the next morning and NC State was ranked lower, and then eventually within a week or two, it was considered a quad 2. The quad 1 win just disappeared. Syracuse had a 3-7 record against quad 1, and then all of a sudden it was 2-7. And I was waiting for a fan to ask me, what's going on, Dan? And somebody did. And I said, well, apparently things are fluid, and what you did yesterday doesn't have to count today the same way. So Syracuse would have had to win that game, then beat Duke, which would get some people to look at you. And then after beating Duke, you'd have to win in the semifinals. You know, Syracuse would have to. Syracuse, since joining the ACC, has never made it far in the ACC tournament. It's actually abysmal. It took them a while to just win a game. Syracuse has been one of the most awful performing teams in the ACC tournament in the last decade of what the ACC has now with 15 schools. Syracuse has been terrible. Absolutely terrible. And this year was one of the worst showings. Syracuse looked like the 15 seed. Louisville pushed NC State to the end. Syracuse didn't bother doing that. So when you look at the Orange this morning and you say, what are the problems, Dan? The problems are the problems. Your problems don't. This is what people don't understand. This is what people don't get. When you push something under the rug, it's still a problem. You know, people think that that's not the case. That's the case. When you don't fix a problem, the problem persists. When there is a leak in the ceiling and you do nothing about it, hoping that the leak will just stop leaking, the leak gets bigger until the roof caves in. That's what happened, folks. They did not do the fundamental things they needed to do. Adrian and the coaching staff has to corral this team better. The message wasn't getting through, or maybe they weren't taking him seriously. But this was a team that a few weeks ago was fighting on the sidelines with each other. And they say, oh, that's what people do. Yeah, people have moments. But you know what? Have I seen a team that was together? No. I've seen a team that was together sometimes. When you win, it's easy to be together. When you win, it's a piece of pie. Man, you know, how many times does somebody tell you, man, I'm in a bad relationship, but sometimes it's so good. I'm in a bad relationship, but we have really good days. Everybody can have a good day in a bad relationship. But is that what you want for your program? Let's see what's come in here. Looking ahead, this team will have to fill voids in the transfer portal. Yeah, they have to find centers. They have to find centers that already have, and this is to take nothing away from Naheem McLeod, because I don't even think we got to really see him in what he could be. But They need to find guys that already have muscle. They need to find guys that are already physically fit, that are already personally responsible in going to the gym and in running and doing all the things that they need to do and eating right. They need to find those people. They don't need to make those people. They need to find those people and help make them better, but they need to find those people. You have to find 2 centers, not 1. You got to find 2. You got to find 2. Syracuse bare minimum in the transfer portal or through recruitment or whatever, Syracuse has to find 2 centers or a center and a power forward. That's a big old dude that's got meat on the bones. They need inside presence. They're not going to beat anybody. This is what people don't get. If Chris Bell was 8 for 10 every night from 3, that doesn't matter. They beat Louisville by 2 points when Chris Bell went 8 for 10 from 3. At home in Syracuse. They won by 2 points. So stop thinking that this team just needs to catch fire, because they're not going to beat great teams. Because when you catch fire against Duke, more often than not, what does Duke do? They catch fire, usually more than you. When you catch fire against North Carolina, what do they typically do? They catch fire too. What do you do when you go up against a Gonzaga team? They outlast you, more often than not. I know they lost to St. Mary's by a few points, but nobody wants to play Gonzaga. I don't care what seed they are. If you're Syracuse right now, you don't want to play Colgate twice a year, because Colgate's got too much. They got too much going on. They don't just have threes. If you think Colgate is a 3-point shooting team plus nothing else, you're not paying attention to basketball. You got to pay attention to basketball. Syracuse is not fundamentally sound. Syracuse is not listening to a central message. Syracuse does not have any leadership, and whatever Adrian is saying is not going through, and I don't think people are taking it seriously. Now, you take Benny Williams off the team, and you think, well, that's Adrian putting his foot down, so now the team's going to realize they got to get their act together. Obviously, that's not the case. Obviously, they didn't get their act together. It looked like this team at certain points this season has looked like a bunch of guys that were like, oh, whatever, man. If you don't pass me the ball, I'm just going to go home. You can't play basketball like that. You're not going to win anything. The team that I saw last night could have been 9-23 this year. That's the team I saw last night. I didn't see 20-12. I saw 9-23. That's what I saw. I saw, what is this? And if you wake up this morning on that team and you're thinking, nah, we played good, Dan. No, you didn't. And you know what? Everybody's entitled to have a bad game. Everybody's entitled to have a rough moment. But you got to check yourself when you are consistently not looking like a team. So, yeah, they got to go to the transfer portal. And they got to look in general across the high schools. I'm never going to be about taking away from high schools and prep schools. Little to no team depth, thus a lot of zone. Well, the depth is there. That's their own problem. They weren't prepared. Team rebounding continues to be a thorn with this squad because they don't box out. And do I hold the coaching staff responsible? To an extent. I don't think it's just the coaching staff. But to an extent, yeah. To an extent, when your team does not look personally responsible and they don't look cohesive, and at the end of the season, they're not playing their best basketball, yeah. And see, this is the thing I tell people all the time. I don't just cover Syracuse. I cover teams all over the country. So it gives me an opportunity to get a pulse on a lot of different programs all at the same time. And Syracuse is night and day to some of these teams that I consider to be well-oiled machines. When I look at Gonzaga and I look at Syracuse, I'm going, this doesn't even look like the same sport sometimes. When I look at North Carolina, it's like, well, you beat them once. But Hubert Davis, been head coach for a couple seasons. Dude looks awesome. Right? He's struggled. Why is the team so much better now? Armando Bacot struggled the last 2 years. Why is the team so much better now? I mean, you look at John Shire. That dude looks like Duke didn't miss a beat of anything. It looks like Duke didn't even burp when Coach K retired. And that's no offense to Coach K. That's respect. from Coach K to John Shire. That looks like David Robinson just gave the ball to Tim Duncan and said, go have fun, bro. When teams are moving forward, transitioning coaches and staying successful, and Syracuse is not, that makes you think. What? And I'm not saying that 20, again, I'm not saying that 20 wins isn't good, and I'm not saying that Adrian Autry isn't working his butt off. I'm saying if your team is not playing fundamental basketball at the beginning of the season and they're not playing fundamental basketball 32 games later, you got to figure that out, coach. You got to figure that out. That's unacceptable at any level. If I was a coach and my team wasn't doing the things in our control to do, I mean, remember when I asked him about setting screens, and what did he say? Wow, this team switches quick. You know, so basically, why even set a screen? Well, it ain't working to not set one. Try something different. Boxing out, setting screens, rebounding, court vision, court awareness, teamwork, chatter, talking, moving. That's all in your control. The will to win is in your control. You may not win every game, but if you have the will to do it, that is very much in your power. This team has individual positive moments with individual players, but I'm not seeing a team right now. And that concerns me. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back to talk about the teams that are making the NCAA tournament with automatic bids and some NFL moves right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here talking with you about a bunch of different subjects this morning, and time to get into that NCAA Tournament Automatic Bid updater. There are 14 schools that have already punched their tickets in the men's basketball world. 14 schools have already won their conference tournaments. That means of the 32 conferences, 14 of them are already set for automatic bids. Those 14, in alphabetical order, the A-Sun has Stetson moving forward into the NCAA tournament. The Big Sky has Montana State as of last night. The Big South has Longwood, which has the record of my grandfather's number and my number together, 21-13. The CAA has Charleston after a valiant effort by the 7-seed Stony Brook there. Charleston will move forward into its second consecutive tournament, the College of Charleston. So with a record of 27-7. Remember last year they had 30-plus wins. Horizon League has Oakland moving forward. Missouri Valley, the MVC, has Drake. And then the Northeast Conference that Lemoyne plays in has Wagner moving forward with a record of 16-15. Wagner defeating multiple teams en route to getting there, defeating the 1-seed Central Connecticut State and the 2-seeded Merrimack in order to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time, I believe, since 2003. The Ohio Valley Conference, the OVC, started the automatic bidding with Morehead State moving forward. The Patriot League, once again, no surprise, because Matt Langle's built an incredible program. Colgate, 25-9, and they have won the Patriot League. They're back in the NCAA tournament again. They're becoming a perennial contender, which is awesome to see in upstate New York. In the Southern Conference, the SoCon, Samford going into the NCAA tournament. Last night in the Southland Conference, McNeese State, 30-3 record, second best record of all teams that are automatic bids already in men's Division I basketball. McNeese State winning out of the Southland. In the Summit League, South Dakota State making it happen once again. And in the Sun Belt, James Madison, keepers of the best record of all automatic bidding teams up to this point, 31-3. James Madison out of the Sun Belt putting that work in. And out of the West Coast Conference, the WCC, which is always Gonzaga versus St. Mary's, this time the St. Mary's Gals gets another championship under their belt. I think they have 5 in these recent, 10 years or so, 10, 15 years. So St. Mary's moving forward into the NCAA tournament. Got plenty of action coming up, folks, as we are awaiting to see who's going to win in the other 18 conferences, with some of these conferences ending during, this week's time within the next couple days, and then some ending on Saturday and some ending on Selection Sunday, including the American Athletic Conference that I cover so closely. Greg said, positive news is CNY will have Colgate and quite possibly Cornell in a big dance. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see, man. It's great to see the work that has gone on with Colgate and Cornell. If you look back not too far into history, Cornell was doing some good stuff too. So there's excitement here. Being played in New York City is the Ivy League here. And in the Ivy League, we look at the field that we have and, the excitement of what the Ivy League can do here. I want to take it's going to be March 15th to the 17th. So it starts on Friday and it will end on Selection Sunday. And so, there's an excitement for that. In the men's tournament, there is number 1 Princeton against number 4 Brown, number 2 Yale against number 3 Cornell. So Cornell has a shot to make it to the NCAA tournament on the men's side. And, of course, Colgate is already going. So, awesome here. I do like that the Ivy League is doing a conference tournament, especially this year with the top 4 seeds all in the semis and all solid squads. Yeah, the Ivy League, for those that don't know, of the 32 conferences, there used to be 31 conference tournaments to decide the team that would be going into the NCAA tournament on an automatic bid. And the only team that was exempt from, or the only league or conference that was exempt from that was the Ivy League, where they sent whoever won their regular season to the NCAA tournament. So their automatic bid was not decided by a conference tournament. It was decided by whoever led the regular season. That's the team that would go. So, and obviously, if there's teams that are tied, there'd be tiebreakers and whatnot. But they would choose it based on regular season champion when everybody else is playing a conference tournament. Now the Ivy League has been playing a conference tournament, so all 32 conferences play a conference tournament, but some of them are different. Some allow every team in, some allow a certain number of teams in. In the case of the Ivy League, they don't let everybody in, and they let a small number in. They let the top 4 in, and so that's something to look at here. And there's other conferences like the conference that Lemoyne is in the NEC, that has 9 schools, and they only let in 8. And the America East, same thing. They let in all but 1. So, there are conferences that do that. And there's conferences like the ACC that let in all 15. The AAC that let in all 14. The SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, they let everybody in. So Pac-12 in their final year, sad face, it is kind of surreal. They let everybody in too. So, it is definitely interesting how not every conference has the same number of teams, but it's kind of interesting that the ACC has 15 schools and they let all 15 in, and the NEC has 9 schools and they only let 8 in. You know what I mean? So it's like you have half of the ACC, but they're still saying, hey, we're not going to let everybody in. Where the ACC is like, I looked at some of these records in the Pac-12. Oh my goodness. There were in the Mountain West. Why is the Mountain West grading so high? Did you see some of the records in their conference? Oh my, ew. This is not an attack on the Mountain West. This is a question because the Mountain West has been given all this like hype and publicity and the publicity is great, but like the hype and it's great, it's a great conference, it's so great, oh my gosh, it's so hard to get out of, and then you look at the records and you're like, hard to get out of. Every team that played in the first round of the Mountain West in men's basketball should have been a cakewalk. Didn't look like it was hard to beat those teams. You look at those records that those teams had that they beat, yuck. You know what I mean? It's at least the ACC, is competitive when they're playing in these games, and you got the 15 seed pushing the 10 seed, you got the 10 seed beating the 7 seed, and the AAC tournament, for goodness sakes, on the women's side, the finale was the 9 seed versus the 10 seed. They put that work in, and respect. The Mountain West, good gracious. You know what I mean? My thing is give credit where credit is due. Don't just give credit. Give credit where credit is due. Fresno State beat Wyoming. Fresno State's 12-20. Wyoming is 15-17. Colorado State beat San Jose State. Colorado State's 23-9. San Jose State's 9-23. New Mexico beat Air Force. New Mexico's 23-9. Air Force is 9-22. Yuck. Gross. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. And again, this is not an attack on the Mountain West. This is, if I'm hearing the Mountain West, they're so high this year, they're so high this year, they're so much good this year, they're so high this year, they're so amazing this year, they got 6 teams in this year. That, you beat a Mountain West team, quad one. Okay. What's the quad when you beat San Jose State this year? Don't tell me that's a quad 1. Don't tell me that's a quad 2. But tell me that's a quad 5. We're going to take a step aside. We'll come back to wrap up the first hour right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located for you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card shop. Head over there today for singles, packs, graded cards, and boxes, as well as every Major League Baseball team, every NFL team, every NBA team has their own box on the back wall. You can go there and search for your favorite players and your favorite team today. I don't know anybody else that does that. It's an awesome personal touch, connection to just attention to detail and care that whoever you're a fan of in the NFL, NBA, and MLB, they got you set. So make sure you head over there today and check those boxes. There's some awesome things that I found in those boxes. And, of course, their inventory is constantly evolving, constantly growing and changing and bringing in different things. So you never know. If you go in on Monday and then you go back on Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday, they could have something totally different. So make sure you go and check out GG Cards and Breaks. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. And they have everything you need to protect your cards. They have all the places to put them, the top loaders, as well as, they have the sleeves, the top loaders, the binders. They now have binders that they just brought in that are a way for you to carry all your cards that you have graded. So that's another cool thing, to put the graded cards in a binder. And of course, they have boxes for you of all different shapes and sizes, and the one-touch cases and so much more. The Disney Lorcana series is there, as well as Pokemon. So you could find a ton of things, literally everything that you need in the sports card and trading card game collecting world. So many pieces of what can be home with you are right there at GG Cards and Breaks, waiting for you to come in and see them at 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, and we'll see you over there. With that being said, a quick note here: the NFL moves are constantly happening. I have to talk about one that makes me sad, and that's Calvin Ridley. And I'm going to get into it more tomorrow. But, wow. Sad face. As a Jaguars fan in the comfort of my own home, it hurts. As somebody who's an impartial broadcaster, I'm happy for Calvin Ridley. I'm surprised that the team, Tennessee Titans, didn't want to pay A.J. Brown when they had a 1,000-yard receiver and they knew what they had, but they want to pay Calvin Ridley buku. They're paying him some good money. But they didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. That's confusing to me. But you got a different coaching staff, different things going on. So maybe some changes happening there. No more Derrick Henry. It's a Will Levis show now, too, at quarterback. So a lot of change happening in Tennessee, but they're spending some monies. And the NFL moves continue to happen. So, I mean, this has been awesome. This has been awesome to watch the NFL just like doing all these really cool moves. There's so many quarterbacks that are changing. These quarterback battles that are going to happen are really exciting and fun. So, I'm looking forward to everything that is to come. We're going to be breaking it down in the days and weeks that come as we continue to see what the NFL is morphing into with people that are changing into different teams, different jerseys, and different situations. So God bless to them all. With that being said, we got our specials coming up with the American Athletic Conference here in hour number 2. Just want to let you know, youtube.com, facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com is where you find Wake Up Call worldwide, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can also find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Thanks to our incredible team in Central and Upstate New York. Go and visit our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, as well as Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. And we are proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month with the Dolphins during Dolphin Time, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. First and third Wednesday, AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Second and fourth Wednesday, you'll find the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, future Dolphins, and alumni, as well as administration. You can find all of our Dolphin content by subscribing to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Hit the notification bell and check out the Lemoyne playlist. Go and see your Dolphins tonight at Ted Grant Court. They need everybody there. The students are off on break, and we got to pack Ted Grant Court. Make sure that you pack it for the Fins tonight. They're going to be on the Yes Network and ESPN+. And this is the semifinals of the NEC tournament for women's basketball, with the women's basketball team led by Mary Grimes having the opportunity to play in the championship game in their first season as a Division I school and first season in the NEC. So if you are in the Central and Upstate New York area, please swim over to Ted Grant Court tonight for a 7 p.m. tip-off for women's basketball going up against FDU. You can find the Dolphins on wakeupcalldt.com on the homepage and on our exclusive partners tab. And for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. As always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse bring you the Bobcat Buzz in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Bobcats. You'll find the Bobcat Buzz every single month. Men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, esports, and baseball, all at Bryan Stratton College of Syracuse. In the 2+ years that we've been together, I've only seen them grow, which is a beautiful thing to see. Make sure you head out to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on James Street. Find out what they're all about. And if you're looking to continue your education and or you have some eligibility left, there's plenty of opportunity at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse in a very unique situation that I appreciate, with wonderful leaders and people that truly care about this community and beyond. Find your Bobcats on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. And of course, you can find the BSC Syracuse playlist on our YouTube channel. Go to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and the exclusive partners tab to find your Bobcats on our website. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Make sure to support the Bobcats baseball team in their second season of existence, as they are fully into their season. So make sure you check their schedule at syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcats. the Binghamton University Bearcats here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora are our newest exclusive multimedia marketing partners. Binghamton University comes to you during Bearcat time every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You'll find the Bearcats right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with multiple Bearcat break room specials airing with student athletes, coaches, and administration each month throughout the year. And you have also Moments with Marshall that will air each month with Athletics Director at Binghamton University, Gene Marshall, giving us an inside look, breaking news, and a behind-the-scenes opportunity to get to know Binghamton University so much better. Binghamton University has the spotlight here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in a unique and special way. Find all of our content on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Hit the notification bell, click subscribe, and of course you could find our Binghamton playlist. You can also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and under our exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com, and as always, go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thank you for tuning into today's show. Head over to Ma and Pa's, the snack capital, and find out why I love it so very much, and so many people do. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Go and watch our entire second hour, which features the American Athletic Conference with 5 specials, including my conversation with Mike Oresco happening right now. God bless. No stress. Do your best.